Hello everyone, my name is Serhiy Paduk and I am the founder of Softtake, a software development company. In this short video, I'll demonstrate how you can deploy your Vaadin application to a server in less than 5 minutes. This includes setting up the database, configuring the Nginx proxy server, and generating SSL certificates. I believe this information will be valuable for both companies working with Vaadin and solo developers. So let's start with the challenge. Vaadin is an excellent framework that simplifies the development of complex business applications using our favorite programming language, which is obviously Java. At Softtake, we actively use Vaadin, and I personally appreciate its evolution. However, writing code is only part of the development cycle. Once the code is written, it must be deployed to a server, connected to a database, configured with a proxy server, and secured with SSL certificates. But how exactly can this be done? So, actually, there are a lot of different approaches on how it can be done. But nowadays, companies mostly use these three main approaches. The first one is running a compiled Java archive directly on a server. The second one is using Kubernetes with Vaadin Control Center. And the third one is developing and utilizing a custom Docker Compose setup. Each of these approaches has its own advantages and disadvantages. So let's check them. Option number 1. Deploying your application as a jar file is straightforward. You just need to install Java, transfer the jar, and run it. That's it. This method is efficient because no container overhead, faster startup, and fewer dependencies. Integration with system services like cron jobs and monitoring tools is seamless. However, manual setup can be tedious because it requires configuring a database, proxy, and SSL. All that takes time. Keeping environments consistent is tricky, as system updates may cause conflicts. Security is another concern, because running directly on the host increases exposure to vulnerabilities. The next option is Kubernetes plus Vaadin Control Center. This is a powerful yet complex solution for deploying applications. It offers automatic scaling, high availability, and rolling updates, ensuring a smooth performance for users. Security is another key strength, offering role-based access control, namespace isolation, and secure secrets management. However, Kubernetes and Vaadin Control Center comes with challenges. It requires deep knowledge of its ecosystem, introduces performance overhead, and can be costly, whether using managed services or self-hosting. Additionally, there is no built-in infrastructure as code support in Vaadin Control Center, meaning updates require manual redeployment without CI/CD integration. Okay, moving on to the last option for today. For those seeking a simpler, more manageable approach, Docker Compose offers a practical solution. With just a single YAML file, you can define your entire environment, including services like your application, database, proxy server, and so on and so forth, networks, and volumes. Deployment is fast. Running a simple command like Docker Compose app starts everything instantly. Portability is another major advantage. Whether you are working on a local machine, a staging server, or a production environment, Docker Compose ensures consistency across all deployments. It also integrates seamlessly with CI/CD pipelines, allowing for automated testing and deployments. Of course, Docker Compose has limitations. It lacks Kubernetes' advanced orchestration features such as automatic scaling and self-healing. While it supports multi-container applications, it doesn't easily distribute workloads across multiple servers. As you probably noticed, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. The best deployment method depends on your project requirements. Jar deployment, ideal for maximum performance, Kubernetes, best for scalable, high-availability applications, and Docker Compose, the most practical choice for typical business applications. At Softtake, Docker Compose works for 90% of our projects. So, to streamline our workflow, we developed a custom Maven plugin called vaadin-deploy-maven-plugin. It is designed to automate and simplify deployment. It handles two critical tasks: automatically generating a standardized Docker Compose configuration tailored for Vaadin applications, and deploying Docker Compose to a Linux server or SSH, ensuring a smooth and consistent deployment process. This plugin eliminates the complexities of manual server setup, removing the need for in-depth knowledge of SSH, Linux, Docker, reverse proxies, SSL, and so on. By automating these steps, developers can focus on building applications rather than managing infrastructure. Now, let me elaborate on the required steps to deploy Vaadin application to a Linux server. Actually, all you need is to follow these three simple steps. The first one is add Maven plugin to the project and configure it properly as shown on the slide. The details of configuration properties can be found in our GitHub repository, the link to which I will share at the end of the presentation. As soon as you configure the plugin, you have to run the init maven go. It initializes Docker Compose YAML file and a few additional configurations in your project. These configurations are required to run the project on a server behind proxy and secure it with SSL. After you initialize the Docker Compose, you can run the maven go to deploy it to the server. Executing this command will copy Docker Compose YAML file and all necessary configurations to the server or SSH. If you are wondering how the plugin knows where to copy the files, I am answering. The SSH connection to the server is specified in configuration of the Maven plugin over there. Don't panic about the password. The plugin also supports connection with a private key. However, for demo purpose, I choose the simplest possible option to make it clear. The deploy command executes three main actions. It copies configurations to the server, it generates SSL certificate, and it gets Docker Compose up and running. Also, I would like to mention that Docker Compose already includes configuration of database, either Postgres or MariaDB. Also, it includes your Vaadin application and Nginx proxy server. And what we like the most, all of that is pre-configured. You have to do literally nothing except configuring the plugin. We have already integrated this plugin into several projects, receiving highly positive feedback from the developers. This encouraged us to publish it to the Maven Central repository and make it available for the Vaadin community. I will show you a demo of how it works in a minute. Before getting to a demo point, I would like to mention the requirements to use our plugin. You must have a Linux server, you must have Docker Compose installed on that server, and the server must be linked to a domain name. To save time in this video, I have already prepared a new Ubuntu server on Hetzner Cloud, but you can use any hosting provider you like. It can be AWS, it can be Azure, it doesn't really matter. I installed Docker Compose following the official documentation, and I configured a DNS record on GoDaddy to map the IP address to a domain. That's it. We are ready for a demo. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start off the demonstration by downloading a project from Vaadin Starter. I have prepared one before the demo. It's a simple project that consists of 2 pages, a list of people, and image gallery. Both pages are available for authenticated users only. So let's download this project. I'll choose PostgreSQL as database, but you can use MariaDB as well. And I need to tick this checkbox to generate Docker config as well. It's important. It must be checked. So let's download the project. Okay, let's save it. Let's now unzip it. And I have to open it in my IDE. Let's open it. Okay, the project is loading. My IDE probably will require some time to index the content. While it's working, I'll go to our GitHub repository to get prepared for configuration. So there is a section Quick Start on our GitHub repo where you can find all necessary details to deploy your Vaadin application to the server. So the first step is to configure your plugin. Here is an example of configuration. Let's copy it and put it to the project. We need to find the plugins section. Let's put it over here. Next, we need to enter certbot email address. It can be any valid email address. In my case, it will be softake.eu, but you can use any else which you are managing. Then domain name will be Vaadin demo. In my case, deploy dir and apps.dir I won't change. DB provider is Postgres, but if you change it to MariaDB, you have to enter it here as well. Okay, host name will be the same as domain. Sometimes it can be IP address. That's absolutely fine. You can enter IP address here, no problem. And username is root. And the password, let me copy from my notes because I don't remember it. Okay, yeah, that's it. The plugin is configured. Let's get back to our quick start section. The next step is to initialize Docker deployment configurations. To do it, we have to execute this command. Let's open terminal and execute it. As you can see, build was successful, and you will find a new deployment directory in your project, which contains all configurations necessary for deployment to the server. Okay, the next step is to build your Vaadin project. We have to copy this command, get back to the console, and execute clean package command. Pay attention to that part. It's quite important to build in production mode. Otherwise, the deployment won't work. So we have to build up in production mode. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, the project was built successfully, and the last part is to deploy our project to the server. To do it, we have to copy this command. Before we execute this command, I would like to show you that we have no applications running on this server. As you can see, it doesn't respond me, so no apps at all. Okay, let's execute this command. While it's working, I would like to show you what files were generated in deployment folder. The first and the most important is Docker Compose YAML. This YAML file contains database configuration. In our case, it's Postgres. It also contains Your Vaadin App. The next service is proxy, which is Nginx. And the last service available in this Docker Compose is certbot. This service is responsible for generating SSL certificates. Okay, Docker file is one that wraps our jar, our Vaadin Java archive into Docker image. env file, it's environment variables. Before first deploy, you can change database name, you can change database users and password. That's absolutely fine. But after first deploy, you shouldn't change this file because Docker will generate already a database with its name, with this user, and with this password. So if you like to change it in the future, then you will need to do it manually. Okay, so our application was deployed. Let's go to the URL and try to refresh the page. Yeah, here it is. As you can see, the application is up and running. 2 pages, everything is operational. And if you check certificate of this URL, it's valid, and it was generated by Let's Encrypt just now. Did you notice how simple it was? It took me about 5 minutes to download the project from Vaadin Starter, to configure the plugin, to build Java archive, and to deploy it to the server. The configuration itself was clear and simple. Just a few settings and I was done. And I didn't need to know any system administration stuff. Wasn't it cool? Also, I would like to emphasize that I showed only a minor part of the plugin's capacity. Actually, the plugin allows configuring different deployment environments such as staging, Q&A, production, and by the way, you can set up this plugin to generate Docker Compose and all necessary configurations for local development as well. If you want to know more, then please read documentation on the GitHub. I hope it's clear enough, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I will leave my contacts at the end of this video. Also, if you are interested, you can dig into the source code. It's also available on the GitHub. Pull requests are appreciated. Probably that's it. That's all what I wanted to show you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for your attention and see you later.